Johnny Depp's life had always been one of extremes. He was a man of incredible talent, a household name loved by millions around the world for his portrayal of Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean and his many other iconic roles. But with the fame came the relentless attention of the media, and that attention could turn harsh and unforgiving. As Johnny rose to stardom, so did the shadows that accompanied it. The late-night gossip shows, the scrutiny of his private life, the inevitable rumors. His relationships, his finances, his every move were analyzed, dissected, and reported. Johnny Depp had become a symbol of both incredible success and the pitfalls of living in the limelight. Through it all, Johnny remained grounded by one constant: his longtime bodyguard, Jerry Judge. Jerry wasn't just a protector in the traditional sense. He was Johnny's confidant, his silent ally. Over the years, they had developed a bond that was much more than just professional. Johnny trusted Jerry with his life, quite literally. From the early days when Johnny was just starting to find his footing in Hollywood, to the highs of his career when the world was at his feet, Jerry was always there. But as Johnny's life took a turn for the worse, their bond would be put to the ultimate test. It began with the troubling news of financial instability. Johnny's legal battles, particularly with his former management, had drained his resources. Publicly, he was still the charming actor with a larger-than-life persona. But behind the scenes, things were beginning to unravel. Lawsuits piled up, accusations were thrown, and the media began to question Johnny's ability to manage his affairs. The situation worsened as reports began circulating that Johnny's spending was out of control. It was alleged that he had been living a lavish lifestyle, buying expensive properties, maintaining a fleet of luxury cars, and spending millions on art, antiques, and other luxuries. The reality, however, was far more complicated. Johnny's financial troubles were not entirely of his making. His former management had mishandled his finances, and the lawsuits that followed were, in his eyes, unfair. But none of this mattered to the public. All that mattered was the scandal. In the midst of these challenges, a decision had to be made. Johnny was advised by his financial team, his legal counsel, and even close friends to cut costs wherever he could. The first thing on the chopping block? His security team. "It's not personal, Johnny," they said. "It's just business. You need to let go of the excess. Your bodyguard, he's expensive, and with everything going on, you need to make some tough choices." But Johnny couldn't do it. He simply couldn't. Jerry Judge had been there for him through thick and thin, through good times and bad. He had stood by him in some of the most difficult moments of his life, protecting him not just from physical danger, but also from the overwhelming pressure that came with fame. Johnny had never once thought of Jerry as a mere employee. He was a friend, a brother of sorts, someone who had protected him without asking for anything in return. The idea of firing Jerry was something Johnny couldn't even entertain. He thought about the countless moments when Jerry had been his shield against the media, the fans, and even personal threats. Johnny remembered the night when he had been cornered by a particularly aggressive paparazzo in London. Jerry had stepped in without hesitation, physically removing the photographer from the situation, making sure Johnny was unharmed. There were other times too, moments when Johnny was struggling emotionally, facing the weight of his personal battles, and Jerry would silently sit by his side, offering quiet support without saying a word. Johnny didn't just owe Jerry his safety, he owed him his peace of mind. The media didn't understand. They couldn't see the depth of their relationship. To the public, it was just another example of a celebrity surrounded by yes men and paid professionals. But to Johnny, Jerry was more than just a bodyguard. He was family. As the financial pressure mounted, Johnny made the choice to stand by his friend. He wouldn't fire Jerry, no matter what anyone said. It wasn't an easy decision. Johnny's team was upset, his legal advisors were frustrated, and the media seemed ready to pounce on the story. They painted Johnny as a man who was too stubborn to make the hard decisions, who preferred loyalty over reason. But Johnny didn't care. Loyalty to him was priceless. In his eyes, Jerry had earned it. Weeks passed, and Johnny's financial situation continued to worsen. The lawsuits kept piling up, and public perception seemed to be against him. But through it all, Jerry remained by his side. It was during this time that Johnny began to realize just how much Jerry had sacrificed for him. It wasn't just the long hours, the travel, and the physical risks of being in dangerous situations. Jerry had been a constant in Johnny's life, always showing up when needed, always willing to go the extra mile. One evening after a particularly tough day in court, Johnny sat in his hotel room, looking out at the city lights. Jerry sat across from him, silently observing. Johnny turned to him and said, "You've been there for me when no one else was, Jerry. Through everything. And I know I don't say it enough, but I appreciate you. I wouldn't be here without you." Jerry looked at him, a small smile on his face. "It's my job, Johnny. It's what I do. But it's more than that, too. We've been through a lot together, and I wouldn't be anywhere else." In that moment, Johnny knew that he had made the right choice. No matter how bad things got, no matter how much the world tried to tear him down, he had someone who would stand by him. It wasn't just about money or success. It was about the kind of person you are when no one is looking. And Johnny knew that he had done right by Jerry, just as Jerry had always done right by him. Months passed, and slowly but surely, Johnny began to rebuild. His career wasn't where it had once been, but he was slowly gaining back the trust of his fans and colleagues. His decision to stand by Jerry had earned him the respect of many, and more importantly, it had strengthened the bond between the two men. Johnny's fans admired his loyalty, seeing him not just as a celebrity, but as a man who understood the true value of friendship and trust. By the time Johnny Depp made his grand return to the screen, his relationship with Jerry was more solid than ever. The two of them stood side by side, facing the cameras once again, not as employer and employee, but as brothers in arms. Johnny knew that, through all the chaos and the struggles, he had made the right decision to keep his loyal bodyguard by his side. It wasn't just about the money or the fame. It was about the people who stayed with you when the world turned its back. Johnny Depp's story is one of many twists and turns, but one thing remains clear. Loyalty is what matters most. Through the highs and lows, through the public ridicule and personal challenges, Johnny never wavered in his commitment to the people who stood by him. And in the end, it was that loyalty that helped him rise again, stronger and more determined than ever.